It is 1230 WBVP. It is 1460 WMBA. It is 95.7 FM and 99.3 FM. And Tom's here. Happy New Year, first off.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Eddie.
Tom Young of First Consultants is my guest. This is on the radio and all those places I just told you, but this is also being live streamed.
Absolutely.
So if you want to watch this, they watch you. They have no interest in watching me. I don't blame them a bit, but good to see you.
I don't know, my pretty face, it just...
I got my face for radio working today for sure. And the fact that we made it in, I got here yesterday and I remember thinking, okay, at least Tom doesn't have to show up today. So it was a little bit better coming in today than it was yesterday, and it's good to see you. And I got questions right off the bat, unless you got something you want to share.
No, I want to talk about the confiscation today. I've got several topics. As you notice, I have. I'm ready for a 3-hour show today, so.
Hey, careful what you wish for. After the first hour, it's like, Tom, have fun with that. You do. You come in here, and I've got my notes, and I sort of know what's going on. But you were utterly prepared, and I came across the term, and I thought, Tom's going to know what that term is. I'll just write it down, and I did, and it's debt disease. I have that disease. It's one of the few diseases I still have.
Most people have it, or had it, and it is caused by listening to the financial world. Well, when we get advice about finances and money,
right?
You have to step back and look at the validity. You have to look at the person that's giving you the advice, and what are they going to get out of the advice?
That's my first question, and since I've been doing shows with you, I noticed that when you see commercials, when somebody says, we do better when you do better, it's like, okay, that sounds a little bit better, but that's the kind of stuff you're talking about, isn't it?
It is. I mean, there's nothing for free. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing for free. So everybody has to make a dollar. Everybody has to make, income and so forth. Companies have a right to make a profit.
Right. It's the whole point of making or starting a business is to make money.
Absolutely. Yeah. But as we get started today, we started this a couple months ago. I don't want to miss it. We start every program with prayers for everybody in the world. This China virus that has gone around the world on purpose or otherwise, we don't know at this point in time an absolute to that statement. But we pray for everybody because everybody in the world is affected by this in some way or another. And, the Delta variant, now we got this Omicron, and now they're talking of Fluorina, I guess, which is flu.
A what?
And I'm not a medical person, and I don't want to get into a discussion about it, but
coronavirus
is where the flus have always come from. So it's just another variation of the flu.
We're going to run through all the Greek letters, you know that.
Well, if they would have started this in the flu years ago, how many different letters would he had? Because, I get a flu shot every year.
And it's a specialized flu shot every year based on this year's flu.
This year's flu, because there's a different strain every year. And I think we're going to see the same thing going forward. The thing that I'm angry about is the politicians have taken it as a power grab, and an absolute power grab. And I think people are getting close to standing up and making a difference and to stop this crap that's going on.
They've had all they can stand.
That's it. They told us about the vaccines. I got my 2 shots and I got the booster.
Yeah.
So there it is. But you know what? Now people that are vaccinated are still getting, I thought vaccinations prevented, like flu shots, keep you from getting the flu. Well, this vaccination appears to be a little bit of a farce, and it's really lining the pockets of the pharmacy companies. It just let's get on with our show and our prayer for everybody. We pray for everybody who has lost loved ones, and the loved ones who have been lost. Unfortunately, many of them died alone because of people were prevented from visiting. That the Lord would open His arms, gather them into His heaven above. In Jesus' name, we pray.
Amen.
We need to do that every day. We need to keep that conscious on our mind. And we talk about this every day and what's going on around us. And people get caught up, and I have a quote today. I brought a Bible quote today. This is out of Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the thoughts that I think towards you, says the Lord, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you a future and a hope. And
that's nice.
I mean,
that's
to me,
uplifting.
that was a powerful quote that I've read, and I have these little cards. See these little cards? I have a stack of them, probably that high, Eddie, and I brought several of them with me today. But it is so important in us. In other words, this morning when you got up, did you write down a couple things that you're grateful for today? In other words, did you start the day with an attitude of gratitude? Because if you don't start the day at the highest level of attitude that you can start at,
positive attitude,
then the day crumbles quicker. It just does, because we are confronted all day long with people that are negative.
I did. I want to take credit where credit's due. I did start my morning with a positive attitude.
Very good.
I was very happy that when I tripped over the cat, I didn't hurt me or the cat. And it's like, and I thought, okay, that could have been a worse start to a day. Go find breakfast. So you're right.
You know, and you know, I talk about this confiscation all the time, and you can't stop it. You cannot stop it, because we don't live in a microscopic world. We live in a macroeconomic world. You know, whether it's taxes, mortgages, qualified plans. What is that, Tom? That's 401k, 403b, 457 plans, which are government plans.
The ones that we were taught, this is how a financially sound person saves their money.
That's right. And 401k, I would think, is the biggest that people are involved in. But let's back up a little bit and talk about the 401k, because if you're doing the 401k, God bless you, you're fine. But I would not put any more in than a match if I got a match, because you put money in that account and they promote you to put all you can in your 401k. And if you put all of your discretionary savings in your 401k, how do you buy a car, Eddie? All of my savings is locked up,
you take
where
out a
I would
loan.
pay taxes and possibly severe penalties to get at the money. And people say, well, I can borrow. Well, you have to look at the definition in the tax code in what borrowing is. It must be an emergency. It can be for a first mortgage or an emergency. And an emergency is defined by the tax code as you were turned down by two other banks.
So you've already got to go in saying, I need this money, and other people have said no. And it's your money.
That's right. Now, when you do that, that money doesn't earn interest anymore, and when you pay the interest back, you don't get another tax deduction for the interest you pay back.
Even though it's literally the same money that you got the deduction for before.
You cannot tax deduct the interest that you're paying on the loan, and so God forbid you would lose your job, Eddie. Because if you lose your job, guess what? That loan becomes due immediately or taxed and 10% penalty. So beware of what the financial world has placed you in.
Is this a part of debt disease?
Yes, it is.
This sounds debilitating.
Maximizing your 401k with no other savings is absolutely guaranteed to put you in debt disease. Okay. Now think about that. If I'm putting all I can in my 401k, I have no other savings, no other emergency money of substantial amounts. Remember the 4 rules of financial mastery coaching. I want save.
I want your money.
20% of my income.
Okay. Yeah, I had the bank rules.
Well, that's right.
Yeah.
The bank rules. I want all your money. I want more ongoing. I want to keep it forever. I want to give back as little as possible. So just turn the rules around, Eddie.
Okay.
Now we have food, shelter, and clothing to pay for, so you can't say I want all my money and I'm not going to spend any of it.
Right.
Well, you have to, because you got to pay to sleep.
Right.
You got to pay to sleep.
Every day costs money.
Every day you got to eat and do that. So 20% is a starting point. Now, if you're fortunate enough that you have success in your life and you make $300,000 a year, well, then the savings is 30%. If it's $400,000 a year, you should be saving 40% of your income.
All right.
You get the idea?
Yeah.
200,000,
the more
20,
you can
300,000,
save, the more you
30,
should.
et cetera, et cetera. So the more money you make, the higher the savings. And you have to create a diversified, non-correlating portfolio. Now, what do I mean by that? In other words, non-correlating means I've got different places where I'm saving money, where if the stock market changes, goes up or down, it doesn't impact this account over here.
Okay.
Okay? And that leads me to retirement and realizing that your 401k is all in the stock market. And we know there's times the market isn't nice. You know,
About every other day.
You know, the market isn't always nice. 2008, and I'll talk about that in a minute because I want to talk about derivatives. And I wrote that down.
I love when you come in, I just sit and take notes.
Okay.
All right.
In 2008, when the banks crashed, okay, what caused that to happen? Let's dig down in and figure it out. Well, what it was, there was a thing called a derivative that is named a credit default swap. Now think of credit default swap.
I trade
credit defaults, it swaps out. In other words, somebody is going to buy this debt and replace my money if it defaults. Get the idea?
Okay.
So that was about mortgages. It was all about mortgages in banks. So in 1999, Bill Clinton said, look, to the banks, you will loan money to people over there on the other side of the tracks.
Right.
You will loan money to people over there. If you don't, we'll call it discrimination and we'll come after you.
Okay.
So that was the beginning of opening Pandora's box to making loans to people that were no income, no job. In other words,
weren't going to be able to cover the loan.
There was 1 million illegal aliens in Virginia and Washington that had mortgages that had no income and no assets.
Okay.
And as they started to default, the banks realized what was going on, so what they did is they decided, well, look, let's sell the portfolio. We'll make the loans, and then we'll sell the loans to an investment company.
To get out from under the debt that we know is coming.
So they got their money back, and the debt is now somebody else's responsibility.
All right.
So now the debt is over there, and the financial world, the investment world, would tell you, the investor, well, look, these are all first mortgages on homes. These are good, high-quality things, so you need to invest your money here. Well, they lied, and they were fined by the SEC to the tune of billions of dollars. Now, I don't understand, Eddie, these companies, are they big enough that they can actually spend tens of billions of dollars in fines?
Yeah.
And go on, it didn't even move the stock value a dollar.
Right.
Now,
They're not even blinked.
Just think about that for a minute. Now, just think about that for a minute. All that money that they paid, I want to know, where did it go? Where did the fine money that was paid, where did it go? What did it do? I want accountability.
It's like the NCAA. I paid to find what did I buy with it?
I want accountability.
Do you ever foresee that happening, though? Do you think we're getting closer to accountability? Because right now it is being discussed, Tom, that if you're a legislator, you can't use the information to inside trade on stocks.
Well, I have to be careful what I say, Eddie, or the powers to be of information and technology communication will shut us down. So I believe there is a
these machines
there
were
is
made.
a reconciliation coming.
Is there?
There is a reconciliation coming. When I don't know. But here's a number. We're going to do this, and then we're going to go to break, and we'll go to the news because it's 25 after. And I'm just going on and on and on today.
Tom,
I'm
told you
excited
this.
about the information.
I've told you this. When you show up, I got nothing for an hour. I'm just going to sit here and take notes and learn.
Remember the credit default swaps in 2008?
Right. Okay? To basically bail out the banks.
1/4% of those credit default swaps failed. So it was 1/4% caused the banks to totally melt down.
That is an incredibly fine line to be dancing.
Oh, it is. It absolutely is. And what happened was a couple of mutual fund companies. Now, we've all invested in mutual funds. If you have a 401k, your money's in mutual funds.
Right.
Okay? Mutual funds have money market accounts.
Okay.
You know, and you can get a checkbook with money market accounts, just like a bank checking account. The only difference is a mutual fund checking account does not have FDIC insurance.
Oh, that means if it goes away, then too bad.
So the value of that mutual fund money market is $1 per share. Okay, and in 2008, when the banks melted down, there were a couple of companies, I don't know the names, but I know the facts. A couple of mutual fund companies, they lowered their share price on their money market account
Okay.
to 95 cents. So now you have dollars in your perception it's a checking account.
Right.
And
My
now it's
money's
only
my
worth
money.
95 cents on the dollar.
So I
How
just
quick would
lost.
you- how
I
quick
lost
would you-
5%
How quick would you want your money out of that so-called checking account?
yesterday.
That was the run that happened on the banks.
Okay.
That caused George Bush to put up $850 billion of our tax money to bail out companies like AIG and some of the biggest players that are fat old white men, excuse my French, but they made bad decisions,
Yeah.
and why the heck should we bail them out?
Yeah.
I mean, I've made bad decisions and lost money on investments.
Sure.
Where's my bailout?
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, right now, today, there is 611.735 trillion.
With a T.
611.735 trillion in credit default swaps today. In 2008, it only took 1/4% to risk the whole collapse of the banks. So we're going to go from there,
All right.
and I think we're going to take a break.
Yeah.
And we'll slip to the news, and we'll be back to talk more about the great confiscation and what you can do
Right.
to stop the confiscation in your life when we come back.
Tom Young is my guest on Teleforum. It is the sound of Beaver County. It's presented by St. Barnabas, WBVP, WMBA 99.3 FM, and now 95.7 FM.
Start the new year by taking a trip to Al's Corner in Coppell. Al's is your one-stop locally to not only fuel your vehicle, but to fuel your body with one of Al's daily lunch or dinner specials. Al's also has a wide variety of other yummy items on the menu and in their grab-and-go case, and Al's always has 2 slices of pizza and a drink for just $2.99. Al's Corner is open from 5 a.m. to 11 p.m. daily, and the kitchen is open till 9. If you're planning a party for your favorite football games or any other occasion, Al's has party platters featuring everyone's favorite big game munchies or one of Al's famous sandwiches that will satisfy even the biggest of appetites. Al's Corner is located at the corner of Route 18 and 351 in Coppell. Follow Al's on Facebook for all their specials or call 724-891-6601.
The best of Beaver County is easy to discover. It's right here on your radio. Tune in this and every Thursday from 11 to 11:30 for the best of Beaver County, presented by St. Barnabas. The show is hosted by Mike Romai and is dedicated to shining light on great things going on right here in your neighborhood and the people that are making it happen. This Thursday, enjoy conversation and insight from an intriguing lineup of guests that are creating excitement and having an impact right here in Beaver County. The best of Beaver County is presented by St. Barnabas. The radio broadcast will also be replayed each week from 11:30 to noon on Sundays on Beaver County Radio. It's your chance to encounter the best of Beaver County with new show host Mike Romai this Thursday starting at 11. For more information, visit beavercountyradio.com/the best of Beaver County.
Highmark Blue Cross, Blue Shield, and Allegheny Health Network are pleased to present a new show on Beaver County Radio called Heroes. Tune in every Saturday at 10 and Sunday at 12:30 for Heroes, a wonderful half-hour segment hosted by Jim Roddy that profiles many of the local heroes in this community. Click highmark.com for more information and then tune in for Heroes this Saturday at 10 and again Sunday at 12:30 on WBVP, WMBA, and 99.3 FM.
Start the new year by taking a trip to Al's Corner in Coppell. Al's is your one-stop locally to not only fuel your vehicle, but to fuel your body with one of Al's daily lunch or dinner specials. Al's also has a wide variety of other yummy items on the menu and in their grab-and-go case, and Al's always has 2 slices of pizza and a drink for just $2.99. Al's Corner is open from 5 a.m. to 11 p.m. daily, and the kitchen is open till 9. If you're planning a party for your favorite football games or any other occasion, Al's has party platters featuring everyone's favorite big game munchies or one of Al's famous sandwiches that will satisfy even the biggest of appetites. Al's Corner is located at the corner of Route 18 and 351 in Coppell. Follow Al's on Facebook for all their specials or call 724-891-6601.
Beaver County Radio's news source, 95.7 and 99.3 FM. Along with 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, and streaming at beavercountyradio.com. Here's Frank Sparks.
And good morning. As Beaver County continues to dig out from yesterday's snowstorm, we are expecting cloudy skies today with a high of 29 degrees. We'll have a complete Beaver County radio weather forecast coming up for you right after we have this look at news. Road crews in Beaver County are still working hard around the clock to clean up after that hard-hitting snowstorm that hit our area on Sunday night, blanketing us with nearly a foot of snow. It started early Sunday evening, continued till around noon yesterday afternoon. Today, we're expecting cloudy skies, but tomorrow will bring a mixed bag as we are going to start today with rain showers and possibly a wintry mix that will then transition to rain showers. Now, the big story will be the temperature as frigid air moves into the county Thursday, and temperatures will hover around zero overnight both Thursday and Friday nights with wind chills well below zero. After the mixed bag tomorrow, our next chance for accumulating snow is expected to be on Sunday night. Now, it is too early to tell at this point how much snow we could get, but stay tuned to Beaver County Radio as the forecast continues to develop later this week. Pennsylvania State Police in Beaver reporting that they received a phone call from Joanne Boyd of Georgetown on Monday morning around 10:30 a.m. after her 11-year-old son Andrew ran away from home. Troopers are saying via release that when they arrived on the scene and conducted a canvass of the area, they were able to locate Andrew. He was found in the Georgetown post office. He was safe and unhurt. No other information was provided in the release. Pennsylvania State Police at the Rivers Casino is reporting that 33-year-old Tricia Gray from Beaver Falls reported that she lost a wallet wristlet while at the Rivers Casino on January the 3rd around 7 p.m. Troopers reported via release that the wallet wristlet and the majority of its contents were recovered, but $3,000 in cash was missing. No other information was available in the release. PennDOT has lifted the speed limit and right lane only commercial vehicle restrictions that were in place on several roadways in the Pittsburgh region. Due to the winter storm impacting the region, speed limits were reduced yesterday to 45 miles per hour on all interstates and several other routes in the region. PennDOT is continuing to treat the roadways in the area and will continue until the roads are clear. Motorists can check road conditions on more than 40,000 roadway miles, including color-coded winter conditions on 2,900 miles by visiting www.511pa.com. Now, 511PA, which is free and available 24 hours a day, provides traffic delay warnings, weather forecasts, traffic speed information, and access to more than 1,000 traffic cameras. Beaver County Radio News correspondent Sandy Giordano is reporting that on Thursday at 2 p.m., Aliquippa Parks and Recreation Department will receive a $50,000 grant from T-Mobile towards the 3rd Avenue Playground project. They will receive the grant at the T-Mobile store in Aliquippa Shopping Center on Broadhead Road in Aliquippa. Authorities say that 2 people were found dead after an early morning fire in a Pennsylvania home. State police in Lancaster County say a passerby reported the blaze in the 2-story Fulton Township home just after 3:30 a.m. Monday morning. Chief Phil Smith of Robert Fulton Fire Company told LNP newspaper that crews arrived to find the home engulfed in flames. State police say that 2 people were later found dead as fire crews were clearing debris. Their names weren't immediately released. Smith said damage was estimated at about $300,000 to the structure and its contents. The cause of the blaze is under investigation, but police said it didn't appear to be suspicious. President Joe Biden took office at a particularly polarized time in American history, so it's not surprising that citizens are divided on his performance at the 1-year mark. A Georgia teacher who voted for Biden would give him a C grade, faulting the president for not pushing earlier to end the filibuster in the Senate. A retired nurse in Iowa who preferred another Democratic candidate says that Biden has upheld the dignity of the office. And a registered independent in Arizona who voted for Donald Trump says that Biden's performance has been pretty bad, citing the shutdown of the Keystone XL oil pipeline and the chaotic Afghanistan withdrawal.
Here's the Beaver County forecast on 95.7 and 99.3 FM, along with 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, and streaming at beavercountyradio.com.
Mostly cloudy with a high of 29 degrees today. Overnight tonight, mostly cloudy with a low of 24. Tomorrow, there is a slight chance of morning rain and snow showers that will then transition over to rain showers, so we could see a wintry mix at one point tomorrow. High of 42 degrees. The real story will be the temperatures on Thursday and Friday, as we'll have mostly cloudy skies and a high of 23 for our temperature on Thursday. Overnight, Thursday night, our temperature, the low 0 with wind chills well below 0. Friday, mostly sunny, high 21. Same thing Friday night, our temperature is expected to be around 0 with wind chills well below 0. Saturday will rebound, mostly sunny skies, high of 27 degrees. Sunday's our next chance for some snow showers. High is going to be 28 degrees. Our newscast this hour is being brought to you by MRS Physical Therapy with 2 locations, one at Stone Point Landing in Bridgewater, the other Cranberry Physical Therapy on Route 19 in Cranberry. If you need some more information on MRS Physical Therapy, go to mrsphysicaltherapy.com. That is a look at the news for now. I'm Frank Sparks, Beaver County Radio News, 95.7 and 99.3 FM, presented by St. Barnabas, 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, and beavercountyradio.com.
You don't have to have had an accident, suffered a sports injury, or undergone surgery to take advantage of the benefits of physical therapy from Dale Reckless at MRS Physical Therapy. At a recent live broadcast at MRS Physical Therapy in Bridgewater, Dale Reckless talked about treatment for the common foot pain condition, plantar fasciitis.
Plantar fasciitis is a pretty common thing, and I tell my patients, don't wait to come and get some treatment for it. The longer you wait, the more chronic it becomes. We'll still fix it, but it'll just take longer. If you come to see me when you're first getting the symptoms, then I can take care of it a lot quicker. What I do with plantar fasciitis is we give some stretches to do. I do a lot of hands-on exercise, and then I also do an evaluation of how they walk and how they stand. They need the hands-on work that I do to help cure the plantar fasciitis.
If you need physical therapy for any reason, choose the place that your friends and neighbors do. MRS Physical Therapy in Bridgewater and Cranberry Physical Therapy in Cranberry. Visit mrsphysicaltherapy.com.
Frank explained to me when Peppa Pig means. We were just having a conversation about Peppa Pig. Tom Young is my guest on Teleforum. I had it explained to me. This has nothing to do with finances, but I got to share it because it's going to bug me. When Peppa Pig answers yes or no, it's 1 snort or 2. 1, that's no. 2 is yes.
Okay.
Okay, so from now, the second half of our program, the first half was outstanding. But from the second half, anything you say that I agree with, I'm just going to snort twice. If I disagree, I'll snort once.
Oh.
We were talking about debt disease, and we were talking about 401ks. And during the news, the conversation was all over the place.
Right. Well, we're not going to go
We said a prayer
during the break.
and get me back to.
We were talking about credit default
This is
swaps.
propaganda that we've seen our whole life, right?
Absolutely.
That gets us to this.
This stuff has been going on for decades.
All right.
Okay, and we were talking about credit default swaps. And now, last night, I actually got the numbers off last night. USDebtClock.org. I promote. You need to go there and you need to study these numbers so that you understand what is going on and the ramifications that will eventually show up. The politicians have done well at keeping things well hidden. But the debt clock last night, 29.8 trillion. Is the debt. That's the big credit card.
That's
the credit card.
Who do we pay that to? A different planet?
Well, I'll go there because we're going to talk about the central bank.
Okay.
We're going to talk about the whole big picture here. So the government spent $7.57 trillion.
All right.
Their revenue was 4.056. Now I've been following this a long time.
All right. More math.
And normally, the annual revenue of the federal government is around 3.4 to 3.6 trillion. Now it's 4.05 trillion.
Yeah.
Now,
but it's still lower than the debt.
Let me defend our past president a little bit.
Okay.
Because of the things that he was doing to grow the economy. We had the lowest unemployment rates in history in many categories. Mm-hmm. The job market there were so many people employed they couldn't find employees to go to work. And we still have that problem today. But his taxes, what he did with the economy and taxes, caused this revenue to be as big as it is. And nobody's going to convince me otherwise. And if you listen to Kudlow, I mean, he talks about it. He's all on it the same way. Now, the other number is the unfunded liability. The unfunded liability is Social Security, Medicare Part A, B, and D, pensions for all the government employees, and the military full-time that stays to get a pension.
Now, when you say military, you're talking about the entire military, but you're just talking about pension of retired.
Retired
you're
pension.
talking about
These
paychecks.
are the obligations that have been set in place by our politicians. These are obligations. This is not, well, what if we're going to pay it?
This check's going out every month.
This check's going out.
Okay.
It's 163.8 trillion right now. Now, per taxpayer, the 29.8 trillion is $238,534 per taxpayer.
Come get that. Good luck.
And the unfunded liability is $492,595 per taxpayer for a total of $731,129. Now, let me just ask a question, just a common sense question.
I will answer with one snort or two.
That's $750,000 laying on every taxpayer in America.
It ain't going to be paid.
That's the point, Eddie.
Yeah.
So if it's not going to be paid, well, that means something's going to happen.
Something's going to give.
One of the barrel staves is going to blow out.
Right.
Is what's going to happen. Now, I brought a couple articles. Now, I collect newspaper articles, and I've got them back 30 years in boxes. This is March of 2012.
Okay.
Uncle Sam's teaser rate.
That already makes me uncomfortable.
This is the Wall Street Journal, March 12, 2012.
Right.
Low interest rates disguise the federal debt bomb.
All right, explain.
Now let me bring this in perspective. Now there's that one.
Right.
Now let's go to this one. This was in 5. Let me get the date, so I'm sure. Okay, this is in March 5th. Okay, this was March 12th.
Right.
This one was before that. And this headline says, the high cost of the Fed's cheap money. The Fed is hoping the lack of return in CDs and deposits and bonds, or more accurately, negative returns adjusted for inflation, will prompt investors to take a more risk by investing in stocks, high-yield corporate bonds, and other investments that is pushing people to have a low risk tolerance to take on more risks than may be advisable.
So being encouraged to put yourself in a worse position.
It is all a game. Now here's one more.
All right.
This is 2019. Debt denial is a threat to America. Modern monetary theory rests on dangerous false premises. The U.S. won't grow its way out of the red. And I mean, these signals have been here, and we have politicians in Washington, and the one article we talked about, and I'm not going to read the article, but just a comment. This Charlie Reese wrote his final column for the Orlando Sentinel.
Yeah.
He was a journalist for 49 years, and in his last column, it was nothing more than he talked about. This is about as clear and as easy to understand as it can be. The article below is completely neutral. Never anti-Republican or Democrat. Charlie Reese, a retired reporter for the Orlando Sentinel. And what is the whole idea was 545 versus 300 million.
I know that article.
545 people are in control of the whole ship that we live in. And those 545 people, who are they, Eddie?
No one that I know.
They're the politicians and the Supreme Court. 435 congressmen, 1 president, 9 Supreme Court justices equates to 545 human beings. And it was 300 million people in America then. Now it's in excess of 330 million.
And that's not a brand new article. That guy's been retired for a while.
It has.
I read that article. I remember it very, very well. Why don't people know that? Or are we trained to not pay attention to that? Economically, are we trained as a society like SEALs, where it's a hand-to-mouth, relatively speaking, hand-to-mouth mentality, and we buy into it?
It is too big for most people
to grasp.
And that's exactly right. I mean, we're dealing in 40,000 a year income, 70,000 a year income, 100,000 a year income,
Yeah.
150,000 a year income. And the problem with that is I see that in people, they have saved money for retirement. They're in their 50s.
Right.
And or maybe early 60s, and they've got 300,000, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe $1 million.
And that sounds like a bunch of money.
That is the relative thinking,
right.
that okay, this is how much I make, and I've got all this money. I'm going to have a great retirement.
Yeah, I lived on 40,000 a year for this many years, and look how much that is.
That's right.
Yeah.
But if you take $1 million, okay, and now with the volatility of the market and the interest rates that are almost non-existent, in the financial world, let me put on my financial planning hat,
Yeah.
all those initials after my name, and they would say that your withdrawal shouldn't be more than $20,000 a year, 2%. So you got $1 million,
Yeah.
and it would generate $20,000 a year income. And I have people that are making $150,000 a year.
Good bucks.
They got $1 million, and maybe they got $30,000, $40,000 a year coming in from Social Security,
Right.
between husband and wife both. So they've got to make up $60,000, $80,000. Well, that doesn't work. I have a program. Here's 4 questions for you, folks. What interest rate do you have to make on the money you're saving for retirement in order for you to have enough money at retirement for you to live comfortably with adjustments for inflation,
Right.
till the day you die, throughout your life expectancy?
To not pull away from your nest egg.
What interest rate do you have to make? Number 2, how much do you have to save on a systematic basis without fail in order to have enough money
to get there?
Right. Number 3 is, when are you going to be able to retire? What is your date to retire? Because all of these have to come together at the same time. Because if the first 2 don't come together, you're not going to have you're not going to have the third.
Yeah.
And then the 4th one is, how much are you going to have to reduce your lifestyle in order for you to enjoy some retirement,
Right.
and your money lasts
Live
throughout your
within your
life
means.
expectancy with adjustments for inflation? I can answer those 4 questions in about 20 minutes. It's just that simple. And the real retirement date today, the true retirement date, are you ready, folks? It's age 87. 87. And I tell everybody that I talk to
Does
and
that
coach
freak people out when you tell somebody, one of your clients comes in and you say, yeah, you want to retire? Right now the numbers lay out, you're going to be near 90 when you retire to do it. Does that freak people out? Or does it make them mad?
Well,
or?
it does in some ways, but if the money is not there,
Right.
the income is not there to maintain your lifestyle, well then how do you quit working, Eddie?
You don't.
My advice is the same for everybody. You have to maintain a connection to being able to make money. You cannot, $30 trillion of debt.
Right.
163 trillion of unfunded liability, $731,000 per taxpayer that we're on the hook for the rest of your life. So somewhere in your lifestyle,
They're going to get it.
That's what. It's not going to happen next year.
Right.
Hopefully not. But the crash may come. I mean, who knows the next big swan event? What's going on with Russia right now? What's going on with China right now? Because we got a wuss of a president. Excuse me. We have a wuss of a president that can't tell night or day or the door to the hallway or to the door to the bathroom, I don't think. The guy's lost.
He helped stack oranges yesterday.
Oh.
I'm just poking you with a stick at this point.
I know, Eddie, but the point is the secret to all of this.
Right.
I talk about this all the time. The secret to all of this is learning how to manage your money like a CFO. What's a CFO? Chief Financial Officer of every company. If you got hired tomorrow as the Chief Financial Officer of XYZ Corporation, multi-million-dollar company with hundreds of employees, and your first day is today.
Right.
When you walk into that office, what do you think the first agenda is going to be? Find out where the money is, what's coming in, what's going out. In other words, it's about looking at cash flows and assets and what's producing what.
And liabilities, and it's like, I want to see the books.
Absolutely. So when I meet people, if I ask, where's the books? Do you have a monthly budget? Do you know exactly if all your income stopped today, Eddie? It's January. February 1 in 2 weeks.
Okay.
How much do you need the check to be to the dollar for you to be able to continue to live your current lifestyle? And I'm looking, and they scratch their head. They can't answer the question. And they're making $150,000 a year income.
Right.
And they're putting $6,000 into a 401k at work. And they don't have $5,000 in bank, so they're not saving anything else. So how much money do they need to maintain their lifestyle, Eddie?
It sounds like more than they're saving. See, this isn't a quiz. I would just circle the answer that looked the closest to the correct.
I mean, if I'm
It don't
making
sound like it is
150,
enough. Okay.
if I'm making 150, I'm saving 6.
Right.
And I'm saving another 1,000 a month into a savings
All
account.
right, so that's
That's
$18,000.
$18,000
Right.
out of 150. So that means you're spending the other 132,000. True.
Just to break even.
Just to break even.
Just to get up every
And
morning.
you're gonna tell me that you're gonna retire and you only need 40 or 50,000 a year income to retire?
And you're going to retire.
How big is your lifestyle cut going to be, Eddie?
Well over 75%.
So let's get serious, folks. Let's figure out how you need to create the concept of maximum efficiency. Now, what do I mean by that? If in my book, The Family Money Farm, the CFO Project, I talk about multiple generations of families, the family money farm.
Right.
That's the idea where, if I wanted to buy a car, I should be able to go to my mom and dad or my grandpa and grandma, and they would fund me purchasing my car. And I would pay them 4, 5, 6% interest on the money.
That doesn't mean they buy your car.
No. I'm going to pay them back.
Right.
Same with college. If I pay for my son's college out of my savings, then I expect my son or my daughter, when they get out on their own and go to work, they're going to pay me back just like they would government college loans.
Yeah.
Now, what does that do, Eddie? What does that do for me in retirement? They're helping pay me interest that I couldn't get in the bank.
You're getting money back that you spent while living your life.
Right,
that
and if
normally wouldn't be
I'm
given
managing
back.
the farm well,
Right.
who inherits the farm?
The ones that just paid back that
So they're
loan
paying loans back to mom and dad.
to themselves.
Hallelujah.
It only took a year for me to grasp it.
It is, so it is that simple, but people make it hard because of all the noise of advertising. One of my notes here, I was talking about the programming of thought. We are all programmed by marketing and advertising.
Yeah.
People that we perceive have influence. In other words, the influencers, we'll call them influencers.
Yeah.
There are people all around the world that have influencers, and they influence everything we think about. We listen to advertisements hundreds of times, thousands of times repeatedly.
Oh my God, yes.
What's the McDonald's advertisement from 40 years ago, Eddie? Sesame seed bun?
Two all beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun.
Hey! When was the last time you heard that?
I was 9.
40 years ago.
Yeah, I was 9.
Yeah, 40 years.
But you remember it. Thank you for that, too. You do. You remember if it's a jingle, and you're right. And as somebody that's been in media their whole grown-up life, it's done on purpose.
The guest that I had last month, Len Rainier, he's a personal friend of mine. I've known Lenny for 30 years, and he is a wordsmith, but he has several books. And the newest one he's working on is this Headnomics.
Hiddenomics?
Hiddenomics.
Okay.
Hiddenomics. And that's what we're talking about, folks. The politicians are so programmed themselves. They go into that group. A few of them get elected new each year, and they're going down there. Boy, they're going to make a difference. And they go down there, and they take them into the back room. They strap them down on the table and pour the Kool-Aid in them.
And they say, here's what's up.
And here's what's up. This is what it's all about. And if just like this green gal from Georgia. I mean, look at what they have done everything to her. They recommend they're going to give her own little box in the corner, a little box seat in the corner. They if anybody goes there and goes against the grain of the whole, and unfortunately, a lot of times it's the same on both sides, Republican and Democrat. You know?
Oh no, it exists. That's one of the few bipartisan things that I see on a
until,
regular basis.
until we, as the public, they are our employees. We pay their salary with our tax dollars, and they have mismanaged our money to the point of the absolute destruction of America.
Why don't you run for office?
Nobody would vote for me, Eddie.
I absolutely
nobody would
disagree.
vote
I
for me.
absolutely disagree with
No,
that.
let me finish with this,
Yeah.
because we're down to only a few minutes. And
I planted a seed in your head, it looked like.
You know, my cause and purpose is to help people see the vision of what they really could be. You know, what is the true potential in life? And if you're not chasing a dream, what is your purpose? What are you here for? What are you on earth for? People that search for their purpose unendingly, they never quit. They never give up on that.
It never stops. Right.
Live a very fruitful life. And my purpose in life is to help people buff and polish their glasses so you can see through the noise. You know, it's the fog of politics. It's the fog of government. It's the fog of big business and the fog of IT, and they prevent us from seeing the reality. You've got to refuse to accept the norm. Thinking rightly with integrity, and I hope that I can empower people spiritually, help them see what's really possible. It's really what it's about. Change the way people think.
We've got about 2.5 minutes left. Please tell people how they can get in touch with you. That there are people listening and watching that don't have a background like you and I do, like me talking to you. How do people get a hold of you to talk about this
You
stuff?
can reach me in a lot of different ways.
Okay.
First way is the phone number 724-728-6820.
Okay.
Call and make an appointment. I make 2 promises. I won't ask you to buy a thing.
Okay.
Won't be a second appointment unless you desire it.
Those are two good promises.
That's the first one.
Right.
The second one, you can go to the website, www.1stfirstconsultantsinc.com.
Okay.
Okay? Go there, and right at the top of the page, you'll see Calendly. Okay, that's the calendar. You can go right into my calendar and put an appointment in there, and it can be a phone call appointment, it can be a face-to-face appointment in my office, or it could be a Zoom appointment. We do Zooms. I have clients now, and we just got a new state license, Colorado, so I have clients in 33 states.
Okay.
My dream is to have clients everywhere in all the states. So that's another way that you can get a hold of me. I have a Facebook group called the Family Money Farm Group. Join it, because that's where all of this stuff is loaded on there.
And that's where you've been live streaming today.
Well, I'm live streaming today. I haven't figured out how to live stream to a group, but I live streamed to me, and I will send it over to the Family Money Farm Group later today in what we're doing. So I think we're about out of time.
We are. Tom Young, as always, it's wonderful to talk to you. Tom Young of First Consultants. It's Teleforum. News is next on Beaver County Radio.
Start the new year by taking a trip to Al's Corner in Coppell. Al's is your one-stop locally to not only fuel your vehicle, but to fuel your body with one of Al's daily lunch or dinner specials. Al's also has a wide variety of other yummy items on the menu and in their grab-and-go case, and Al's always has 2 slices of pizza and a drink for just $2.99. Al's Corner is open from 5 a.m. to 11 p.m. daily, and the kitchen is open till 9. If you're planning a party for your favorite football games or any other occasion, Al's has party platters featuring everyone's favorite big game munchies or one of Al's famous sandwiches that will satisfy even the biggest of appetites. Al's Corner is located at the corner of Route 18 and 351 in Coppell. Follow Al's on Facebook for all their specials or call 724-891-6601